Hello fellow Exile, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we will take a look at the Reave Slayer build. Reave is an powerful area of effect attack that has a short initial range, that grows with each consecutive hit. On the other hand, Slayer specializes in rapid life leech, boss killing, and high melee damage, making it a fearsome combination. To further boost our damage, we utilize Impale and Rage. Impale is a stackable debuff that deals bonus damage as you repeatedly hit an enemy, while Rage increases your attack damage, attack speed, and movement speed. It also allows you to use Berserk for insane burst DPS. In the current patch, Reave got a significant buff to its damage scaling. In this build, we use huge amounts of flat physical damage, which goes very well with Reave's damage effectiveness. Thanks to the Slayer Ascendancy, you will also instantly kill any enemy under 20% life and deal more damage to bosses. You also take reduced damage while leeching and ignore reflected physical damage. The Reave attack deals exclusively physical damage, which is then increased by multiple other active skills and passive auras. Reave's skill gem has also a Vol variant of it, which grants you additional maximum stages for even more area of effect until this effect fades out. Reave is a unique melee skill that grants you additional stages for each hit you deal to the enemy. Each stage grants a massive boost to the area of effect. If you don't deal damage, stages will begin to decay. To keep those stages, you want to quickly move around using Leap Slam skill. This build is very tanky thanks to a high maximum life pool, armor rating, and increased chance to block with your shield. With Slayer Ascendancy, Life Leech nearly instantly replenishes your life, offering amazing sustain. Ramping up might be a bit slow, but once you get maximum stages on your Reave and full Rage, you will be clearing whole maps in no time. Damage versus bosses is very good if you cast both of your totems and use Berserker for a massive burst of damage. The enemy should stand in your Pride aura for maximum damage multiplier. This build doesn't require perfect gear to work at all, but you should have some currency prepared before starting this build. Unique items for this build are very strong, but most of them are optional and can be easily replaced by rare items. The only exception for that is the Paradoxica sword, as this sword provides unmatched amounts of damage. Even among uniques, there are many variables, and you should choose them according to your budget. Abyssus is a perilous choice, as it is one of the best items to increase your damage, but you will take more physical damage from enemy attacks. Look for one with the least amount of physical damage taken, as the critical strike multiplier is much less impactful. Paradoxica is the best weapon we can get for this build. At a bare minimum, you need a chance to Impale modifier that comes with increased physical damage. Other than that, a regular attack speed modifier makes a perfect combination, but conditional attack speed is good enough until you can afford a better one. This unique pair of gloves grants you a lot of intelligence, critical strike chance, maximum life, armor, and Vol packed when you're in a fight. It makes your leech life much faster, increasing your survivability against a constant stream of damage. Rislatha's coil is a very strong belt for any physical attack build. It gives a massive boost to your damage and has a decent bonus to maximum life. Try to get one with a high maximum attack damage roll, while keeping less damage modifier as low as possible. Owl's Uprising is the most expensive item in this build, as it allows one aura to be cast for free. The best use for this amulet is the version with Pride, as it allows you to link Arrogant support for increased aura effect with no downside. This is a luxury choice, you don't need this amulet to enjoy the build. Mark of the Elder is a great ring if your other ring is Shaper influenced item. This unique ring can give you a lot of increased damage and life, but it doesn't provide any elemental resistances or attributes, so make sure it is worth it to use this ring in your current situation. Forbidden Flesh and Flame allows you to pick up Master of Metal from Champion Ascendancy, which significantly boosts your Impale damage. They are very powerful and relatively cheap as far as forbidden jewels go, but not mandatory. A great place for Brutal Restraint is near Stamina Notable. It gives you more dexterity, and allocated notables in range grant you various bonuses such as critical strike chance, accuracy, maximum life, onslaught on kill, or increased attack damage. You want Watcher's Eye for most of the builds that use any aura. In this case, Pride and Precision mods are the most valuable for you, with Impale lasting for 2 additional hits being the best one possible. Rare items will be your main source of maximum life and added flat physical damage for your Paradoxica sword. Capping your elemental resistances and getting enough attributes should be your first priority, then you can progressively add more life and damage modifiers. Rare Helmet is the optimal choice if you value your survivability over raw damage. It can grant you life and resistances. To negate some of the damage losses, you can get a modifier that increases physical damage taken by nearby enemies. A rare one-handed sword that could potentially outmatch perfect Paradoxica is almost impossible to get, but you can use the rare sword as a replacement before you get one with the desired modifiers. On your rare shield you need 30% increased mana reservation efficiency to socketed gems to use all the auras. Besides that, look for more life, block chance and elemental resistances. You can also craft additional attack speed using your crafting bench. A body armor with a lot of maximum life, elemental resistances, and additional critical strike chance is very good for this build. You can look for additional curses or reduced mana cost of skills as future upgrades. On your rare boots try to get the usual maximum life and elemental resistances affixes, and later on look for the Tailwind, Onslaught, or Elusive mods. You don't need movement speed as you will mostly move around using a Leap Slam. Rare gloves can give you a lot of life and elemental resistances, but they also have many potent damage modifiers such as attack speed or flat physical damage. Rare belt is not as good as Rislatha's coil, but you could use it if you're in dire need of elemental resistances or maximum life. On your rare amulet, the added physical damage to attacks and critical strike multipliers are the most valuable offensive affixes, but you can also aim for the missing attributes, maximum life, resistances, accuracy, or mana leech. On your rare ring, you should look for high life, elemental resistances, and added physical damage with attacks. 20% quality steel ring with Essence of Contempt yields the best results damage-wise. Rare jewels should have at least increased maximum life and 1 modifier for your critical strike multiplier. On top of that, you can look for missing attributes or resistances, or more critical strike multipliers. Large cluster jewels can be used to get mana leech if you don't have it elsewhere yet. Feed the Fury provides the best damage bonus as you will be constantly under the life leech effect. Make sure to get one that adds a maximum of 8 passive skills. As for medium cluster jewels, it is best to use them for improving your critical strike chance and increasing your area of effect. Use jewels that add up to 5 passive skills. We are using only 2 unique flasks in this build. One of them is Lion's Roar, which gives more damage and knockback on every hit. It's a nice mix of offense and defense power in one flask. Thanks to Bottled Faith you will have increased critical strike chance and damage against enemies on consecrated ground, making it one of the best utility flasks in the game. For remaining magic flasks we recommend taking a diamond flask for critical strike chance, a silver flask for an onslaught during boss fights and a life flask for situations when life leech is not enough. On your life flask, you should have bleed removal while the other utility flasks should increase your armor and attack speed. Reave is a melee attack that grows in size after the first 4 hits. At maximum stages it can cover most of your screen in its wide-angled area of effect. You can use the Phantasmal version for more stages, but getting the Vol version is more important. You need to be constantly in combat to not lose stages over time. Ancestral Protector is a totem that grants more attack speed while it's active. You can use the Phantasmal version for increased buff effect and Helmet Enchant for even more attack speed. Ancestral Warchief is the second utility totem you want to use. It grants you more melee attack damage when you're nearby. The Vol version gives even more damage. Thanks to the MAME support, those totems will apply a slowing debuff that also increases physical damage taken by your enemies. Leap Slam is your main mobility. You can jump over obstacles, and move faster from pack to pack by using this attack. Quick movement is important to upkeep Reave stages during mapping. With life tap support, you can freely spam this ability. If you prefer, you can use whirling blades instead. Assassin's Mark gives a lot of critical strike chance and multiplier, on top of that it allows you to generate power charges. With Mark on hit support, you will automatically apply linked Mark to every rare and unique enemy you attack. If you accumulate some rage, you can use Berserk to get more attack speed, attack damage, movement speed, and reduced damage taken for a short time. In exchange, it consumes your rage over time. Steel Skin is a guard skill that reduces the damage you take for a short duration. You can replace it with Molten Shell if you have a lot of armor. Blood Rage is a short duration buff that increases your attack speed, generates frenzy charges on kill, and grants you more life leech. It refreshes on every kill. You can use the anomalous quality variant to generate frenzy charges during boss fights. This build has a lot of auras to choose from. The most important one is Pride, as it causes nearby enemies to take more physical damage, and this effect increases over 4 seconds. With the right Owl's Uprising amulet, not only you can cast this aura for free, but you can also use Arrogant support for a 24% increased effect without any downside. Precision grants you a lot of accuracy rating and critical strike chance. Try to keep it at a low level to decrease mana reservation. With Blood and Sand you can switch between having more area of effect but less damage, or more damage and less area of effect. War Banner causes enemies to take increased physical damage and improves your accuracy rating substantially. Herald of Purity grants a decent amount of physical damage and creates minions which may divert some of the attention from you. It reserves a lot of mana for the amount of damage it provides. If you manage to get Owl's Uprising or decide to not use some of the damage auras, you can use one of the following defensive auras. Purity of Elements makes your character immune to elemental ailments and grants you all elemental resistances. If you don't have problems with resistances, you should use Determination, as it adds a big amount of flat armor rating and a more armor multiplier on top of that. For the Bandit quest, we recommend killing all the bandits to get 2 passive skill points. If you think you will have problems with your elemental resistances, you can help Alira and redo your choice later in the game using the Book of Reform. For major Pantheon gods' power, we suggest using the Soul of Solaris for additional physical damage mitigation. To counter some of the Abyssus Helmet downsides, minor Pantheon power should be the Soul of Gruthkul for even more physical damage mitigation. It will also cause your opponents to attack slower after they hit you. The passive tree is pretty simple and well suited for leveling. As you progress through the campaign, you will pick up many useful life and damage passives. Picking up Fortify early into the game will help you greatly with survivability. There are many passives that are not tied to swords exclusively, so you can level up using any weapon you want. We are focusing on the left side of the tree, so getting enough dexterity or intelligence can be a bit tricky, but not impossible. Mana reservation passives nearby Duelist are one of the best in the game. Picking them up early will greatly help you with mana sustain during leveling. Without a weapon modifier, you won't reach a 100% chance to Impale, but it is still a good idea to invest into Impale Cluster. In this build, we use only 1 large cluster jewel with 2 medium cluster jewels socketed in it. If you want more defense over raw damage, you can take the nearby Soul of Steel and Prismatic Skin notable passives for additional maximum elemental resistances. When picking up your first Ascendancy node, we recommend getting Brutal Fervor first, as a never-ending life leech is the most iconic property of a Slayer. Getting Headsman earlier will greatly help you with your last Labyrinth, where you can take impact for more area of effect and damage to close by enemies. Cluster jewels are a great place to get some mana leech from attacks and lots of overall damage and critical strike chance. That concludes our today's video. We hope you have enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment. We are glad to hear your opinions. Have a good day and see you in the next video.